Hi, folks. Steve Urban here, founder and CEO at Riderflex. We hope you enjoyed today's podcast. And as a reminder, please subscribe to the Riderflex show for updates on new episodes. And by the way, if you haven't already, check out the book we recently launched, The Riderflex Guide, Inspiring and Hiring, available for purchase on Amazon. And now, a quick word from our sponsor.
Try the #1 marketing platform for small business. Everything you need from design to marketing to CRM. Learn more at marketing360.com. Marketing 360. Fuel your brand.
Justin Breen on the Riderflex podcast. Hello, Justin.
Steve, how you doing, man?
Doing fine. I like those books you got in the background there. I like the mic. I like the whole thing. You got the brand going on.
Normally I don't wear a tie. I usually have the same gray shirt that literally I wear like basically Monday through Friday, but I do have to go to a funeral today, so that's why I'm wearing a tie. Normally I don't wear ties at all anymore. It's been
right.
nice. Yeah. So breaking
sorry you're having to go to a funeral. That's a bummer, but I will confess, I have probably 100 ties and probably 30 sports coats that have been put away for years. I mean, years. I seriously, I don't know when's the last time I put on a tie, and the last time I wore a sports coat is when I went to a funeral or a wedding, I think.
Right, I know. So I don't know if you do this, but so what I do is I just like I'll hang up the shirt with the tie like that, and then so I don't have to untie it. And then hey, magic. How about that?
So now you're old enough to remember, right? That when we had to wear freaking button down and ties all the time. I mean, no.
Yes, I did that until wow. So pre-COVID, we live in the Chicago suburbs. So pre-COVID, I was driving into the city, I don't know, twice a week, and then would have meetings in person and usually would wear a tie.
Wow.
And now it's kind of like, oh man, I can't believe I used to do that.
All that travel. Remember trying to keep those button downs from getting wrinkled in the suitcase. You get to the hotel room, you got to hang them up right away. You got to.
No. Sounds terrible.
It was terrible. It was terrible, man. So you live in the Chicago suburbs now?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. You went to school in Illinois too. So are you from that area? Walk me through some family stuff, some early life.
Oh, okay. So we live in what's called the North Shore of Chicago. So I would say it's middle class, upper middle class, relatively affluent. So here is the North Shore educational route. Okay, so I'll do my high school because it's just easier. So I went to Glenbrook North High School, and people from my high school, certainly not always, but usually go to a Big Ten university. Okay, so I went to University of Illinois. Then we moved to Chicago City. Have fun. Okay, then we get married and start to have children. Then we move back to where we're from. So that's what it is. It's the Glenbrook North, University of Illinois, moved to Chicago, started to have children, moved back to Northbrook Glenview. So that's what a lot of people where I live do.
What'd your folks do for a living?
That's a good, interesting question. So for most people, that would be a relatively normal answer. Mine's a little different. When I was born, my dad was 61 and my mom was 27.
Whoa.
Yeah,
I'm letting that sink in for a minute.
Let it sink in. Yeah, so my father was a World War II hero, shot down multiple times in combat, many times without a parachute, got back in the plane. So that's my litmus test. You can either get into a plane without a parachute after another one's been shot down, or you make an excuse. And I just don't understand. I don't understand people that make excuses. And then he was an attorney in Nuremberg trials, became president of an insurance company. He died when I was 13. He'd be 107 now. 107
wow.
years alive.
Okay.
And then after he died, I found a diary of him fighting in the Battle of the Hürtgen Forest, which was a very deadly battle towards the end of World War II.
Wow.
Belgian-German border, and I write exactly like he does. Boom, 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 boom. Just inform and entertain. inform and then so that's my dad. And then when he was in his late 50s or 50s, a drunk driver hit him head on. Drunk driver killed instantly. My dad broke every bone in his body and survived. And then my mom was his nurse. So most of my days talking to the world's top entrepreneurs, not business owners, not humans, not consultants, just full visionaries. I have not met one with more hustle than my mom. She's the ultimate survive and thrive. So I don't know if that asks you what my parents did, but that's who they are. And so I'm just a combination of, here I am.
Did she remarry your mother after your dad passed?
My mom is in a good way. My mom is the ultimate hustler, the ultimate. So she married twice after my dad died.
Okay.
Her current husband, who's a great guy, they live in a giant house, and I mean, she's just pure hustle. She'll never stop hustling in a good way.
Any siblings?
I do have siblings, an older half sister, and then 2 young brothers.
2 younger brothers. Okay, very good.
My dad was 64 when my youngest brother was 64.
All right. Did you know that you wanted to be a writer? I mean,
No. Yeah. So I was just born with that story I just told you. I was born to be this person. So that's in me at the highest level. There's things that a child and a monkey can do that I have a hard time doing. But in terms of understanding people's stories and then connecting them at a global level, it's just in me from my parents. I mean, it's just genetically in me, and then was just born with that story.
But you majored in journalism, right? I mean, that's what you went to school for.
Well, yeah, I mean, I did, but regardless of whether I majored in it or not, I was always this person. I mean, like things just I don't understand like business owners stuff, or like, I just never understood any of that. I'm just like full connector and then sharing stories with the world. I've been like that since I was a little child.
Okay, so the people skills, the EQ, the socialite in you, that was early on. High school, college, you were in the mix all the time. Constantly connecting.
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
It's interesting how your brain works. So growing up, most people didn't understand what I was talking about, because most people aren't, people like me, well, like us, are usually aliens within their own family, community, and verticals. The only people who understand us are top entrepreneurs on planet. So it took a while for people to understand what I was talking about. The only ones that did when I was a journalist were like the people I was writing about, because they were visionaries changing the world, so I could relate to them. Journalists who were journalists had no idea what I was doing, and I had no idea why they were writing about politics, or if it bleeds, it leads, negative news. Like, I don't understand any of that stuff. It's just
were you a partier now in high school and college, or straight A student, or somewhere in the
middle? So I graduated high school in 95 and college in 99. And if there had been social media around then, I would have been, I don't know if I would have been in prison, but I would have been. But it would, and frankly, I would have known enough. I would have known enough to not do that if social media had been around. But like, and I was in a fraternity in college, and some of my best friends from those. So
you're glad they didn't have phones that took cameras back then. Or
it would have been. I mean, it's funny because not all, but most of my fraternity brothers that I've stayed friends with are very successful.
Mm-hmm.
More impressive is that they married humans, and then they have like I have a normal, happy family, which if you would have seen me in college or any of my fraternity brothers, you would have been like, how did this happen? It's a miracle. It's a complete miracle. We all like married great people. And
how'd you meet your wife? Was she at a party?
I met her online. No, God, no, she would have never. Oh my God. First of all, she's 5.5 years younger than me.
Okay.
She always makes fun of me. She's like, I never would have dated you in college. So I met her online the day before she started medical school. So she's a pediatrician. So literally the day before she started medical school was our first date.
So she had no time for you during the first couple of years of dating. She had like 0 time.
Still has 0. So it's man, your brain. So we became international dating experts there seriously, because so when you you don't date a medical school student, right?
Right. That's what I mean. Yeah. Like,
Yeah. And at the time I was a sports, what was I doing then? I think it was a sports editor. So you work overnights and weekends. So we never saw each other. And
mm,
then you go through rotations and residency, you never see each other. And then you start to have children. So then in 2018, I'm like, oh, let's go out every week without the kids. I think at the time our kids were 5 and 3, and then became 6 and 4. So we wound up going out once a week without the kids, and then I have a pretty decent social media following. I would post it every week when we'd go out, and then so Today's Show interviewed us, and
that's cool.
it was really fun. So there's
Very
a
cool.
52 weeks, 52 dates website, 52 dates, 52weeks.com.
I like it. I
It's
like
really
it.
funny. Yeah, so we
Is
still
your
go
wife,
out once a week.
your wife's cool with the social media? She's fine with it. She's
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's so like what has happened is the first thing I do every day is a grateful journal to her because without her, I'm still that fraternity brother, probably in a ditch somewhere. But so like she's made me a human in some capacity, like just barely human. And then she takes more chances in life now. So she's
okay.
like gotten used to the social media stuff and like
Okay.
having fun. And, yeah.
That's great.
Right.
So the sports piece now, were you a sports guy or you just got thrown into sports writing
Oh
early
no,
just
definitely
because?
sports. Definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Early
So you were
childhood.
into it. That was your thing. All right. I got you. Okay.
Yeah, because it's I just think it's fascinating to see someone excel at the highest level. And
Hmm.
then there's only my brain turns everything into patterns. I've found only two commonalities with top entrepreneur, top athlete, top actor, top musician, whatever that is. There's only two commonalities that I've seen. One is they have the same mindset. They'll get back into a plane without a parachute after another one's
Yeah.
been shot down. They'll never. So that's one. No excuses.
Yeah.
Two, I have not met the exception to this yet. Maybe there is one, but I haven't met them yet. That they had one person, at least one person. It doesn't have to be a parent, but it could be a coach or a mentor, a teacher that actually cared about them. I haven't met one that hasn't had that has had zero people care about them. I
Hmm.
haven't seen that yet.
Great point. And I will say that Riderflex, besides our podcast, we're a recruiting firm. That's our day job. We recruit talent.
Right.
Anytime I'm visiting with a candidate that was like a Division I athlete and played 4 years of college sports while they went to school and worked a part-time job,
Yes.
yeah, I'm interested. Because they the grit, the determination, the work ethic, they're coachable, teamwork. I mean, on and on and on, right? You just on and on and on.
Well, they
Yeah.
make good entrepreneurs many times because one, they don't quit. Two, you get to get to that level, Division I in
Yeah.
any sport, you have to
Yes.
be a certain level and
Absolutely.
a great team player, literally.
Yep.
And then just no excuses, no
Hmm.
excuses, and
Yep.
then
Good.
and constantly wanting to learn. So,
Yeah, I agree. Agree totally. Okay, so you move along. You have a good career. You went had a few stops, but I think your last quote employee regular job was right around what 2017 or so. Walk me through the entrepreneurial transition. Like what? Walk me through that piece. Yeah, go
yeah.
for it.
Okay, so dad shot down in combat multiple times, many times without a parachute, got back in plane. So I'll give you the 2017 non-war version of that, so you can
Okay.
understand why I'm like this, and I don't make
Okay.
excuses. So February 10th, 2017, was employed, had a 5-minute meeting with company owner and managing editor. They proceeded to cut job salary in half, not due to anything I'd done. It's just that's what happens in journalism. So tried to find a job, couldn't find a job. April 10th, 2017, turned 40. April 16th, 2017, incorporated. And so with zero business background, over the next 6 weeks, reached out to 5,000 people to find first 5 clients while I was working full time at half salary. So most people can't do that because they're not wired to be top entrepreneur on planet, but that's entrepreneur life. So I got fifth client on June 1st, June 2nd, resigned. And then at the time, he was the top media columnist in the Midwest. He has since retired, which is interesting. But Robert Feeder did a story. I started my own firm on June 5th. So that was just to get first company started.
Now, there's two things right there I want to highlight for the listeners. This is really a good pause moment for any aspiring entrepreneurs. Two key things right there. Number one, double timed it for a while, nights and weekends,
Figure
doing
it
some
out.
extra, had to double time it. So there's some double timing it in there. That's number one. Number two, 5,000 outreaches to get 5 clients. Like, anytime I hear somebody say, they're struggling to get business,
No,
whatever,
not in my world. No
yeah,
excuses. No.
no,
Again, my litmus test
yeah,
is you can either get into a plane after another one has been shot down in combat, or you cannot.
that's right.
So
Yeah,
me reaching out to 5,000, my
yeah, just
mom,
do it. Just do it.
you just do it. Yeah. So my mom, the biggest hustler on the ever. I mean, that I've ever met, and all I do is talk to hustlers all day. I mean, entrepreneurs are the biggest hustlers, and my mom's bigger than
Oh,
any.
no doubt.
So my dad died when I was 13. So she was raising me, my 2 younger brothers, and my older half sister. My youngest brother, R.I.P., he passed away from a drug overdose. She never complained, never made an excuse. She just keeps going. And then my wife, our first date was the day before she started medical school. So if there's anything comparable to this world, it's going through that. I saw that firsthand. So like, I don't understand people that complain. And I know, and to your point, and I'm glad you slowed it down to bring it up. I know when someone's not an entrepreneur, where they continue to bring up, wait, 5,000 people, 5,000, how did you do that? How did you do that? What were your tactics? I go, what are you talking about? You just, no, you're not an entrepreneur.
That's right. I couldn't agree more. Even today, I mean, I'll just tell the listeners. So Riderflex, we're a multi-million-dollar recruiting firm, right? And
Yeah.
so
How did it start?
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And still to this day, I will send 50 or 60 sales messages and phone calls, even still. No, because you just have to.
Okay.
You have to hustle. If you don't want to hustle, you should not be an entrepreneur.
Steve,
period.
This is what separates. Okay. So one, thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. So all I do is talk to people like you and simplify into patterns. That's how my brain works. Probably from being a journalist too, I can just hear blah 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 and simplify.
Yeah.
So this is what separates entrepreneurs, people like us, from humans. You're not a business owner, you're an entrepreneur. There's a big difference. So entrepreneurs from business owners, humans, consultants. These are the 4 things. I have not met one person like us, not one, that has not overcome at least one of the following 4 things. Most are 2 or 3. The really successful ones are usually all 4s at this point. And this is not silver spoon people. I'm talking about people that started it from nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. So these are the 4 things. Okay. 1, and you don't have to answer this, but almost always when I bring these up, the host goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Yeah. So here we go. 1, bankruptcy or potential bankruptcy. 2, depression. 3, highest level of anxiety that you can imagine. 4, likely and or possible traumatic experiences as a child or young adult. For humans, business owners, are you all 4?
I'm 3. I'm 3 of those.
3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone I talk to now is a 3 or 4. What's the one you haven't had to worry about?
I wouldn't say I had a traumatic childhood, like a major thing. It definitely wasn't a perfect childhood by any means, but yeah, not something that I would classify as super traumatic. Although other people might say some of it was traumatic.
Okay, maybe you're
but yeah, the stress level. And by the way, the stress never goes away. Even after you supposedly make it, the stress is always there every day. That's what
makes you great. So most people can't handle it. That's why they
go get regular jobs. That's why they just go get a regular job.
You've created a company that helps those people. I'm grateful for that. I only talk to entrepreneurs because you're the only ones that actually help everyone else. So my companies are just connecting people like you to people like you because you're the ones that actually will do. But anyway,
yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
You're not the one that you haven't had was the traumatic childhood.
Yeah, and traumatic like I would say traumatic like a parent died or some sort of I was kidnapped or I don't know, something like huge. Right. Like I was beaten or something. I didn't have any of that.
Okay. Thank you for telling me. So you're like a 3.5 or so. I'm 3.5, not full 4 because I've knock on wood, I've never had to worry about bankruptcy or potential bankruptcy, but the really, really like the crazy successful ones almost always are 3.5s or 4s, almost. And it was very interesting because first starting first company in 2017 with zero business background. The first couple of years I was talking to people that weren't like us. They were small business owners or consultants or even employees.
Yeah.
Most of them were one or two. They weren't. Now it's all threes. And I haven't talked to anyone. I've talked to one person who was a two in the last year. Other than that, it's all threes and fours.
It is a special group, isn't it? A very tiny
Well, you
group.
can. Entrepreneurs are the most damaged. This is an entrepreneur. Okay, not a business owner, not a human. Entrepreneurs are the most damaged people, the most damaged with the best coping skills. Highest IQ, highest EQ. Your EQ has to be off the chart. I mean, it has to be off.
Not as high as yours, probably, but it's up there. It's up
I
there.
would think. Have you ever done your IQ?
Yeah, it's barely above average. Barely above average.
Well, your EQ then is it over 130?
My IQ?
Yeah.
I think it was like 128 or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is not super smart.
No,
right?
well, it's high above average. That's why I said your EQ has got to be.
Yeah, it's pretty high. My EQ is way up there. Definitely.
It's got to be off because you wouldn't have been able to. So like, people are like, my wife's like, stop identifying people as numbers, but that's how I see people. Because you'd never be able to create most of the. So 140 IQ is that's genius. That's 1% of the population. Most of the people I talk to, they're like 145, 150, I've talked to a 160 something today.
Wow.
You get that's most of my, and so when you get 160 and above, there's almost no human understanding. It's almost
when you get that plus high IQ, or excuse me, but plus high EQ, that is.
But that's you. You're high. You're high like that. I mean, you are. You wouldn't be. You just wouldn't. I mean.
Well, I appreciate what.
It's not a compliment. You wouldn't be capable of doing it without that. You just wouldn't.
Yeah.
That's why most people aren't capable of creating. But so I'm 139 IQ. I'm literally a bridge between genius and human.
Gotcha. So tell me about BrEpic. I mean, how did you? So all right. So you. Why BrEpic? Like, how did that even formulate? Because you're a writer and you loved writing about people. You loved meeting. Did you just think, okay, well, I love meeting these types of people. I love writing about these types of people. So now I'm just going to create a PR/connecting. Is that how that formulated for you? How did it happen?
Your EQ is looking for an answer here. So, so as a journalist, you don't go to school for that. I knew literally nothing about business, nothing. I still do not know what an S corp is and don't tell me what it is. I never want to learn what that is. Because I think it's funny to not learn that.
You go on the Secretary of State to like file an LLC.
Not listening. And then I didn't know you had to pay taxes 4 times a year.
Yeah.
And then so like on my way up, my wife surprised me for my 40th birthday, and she took me to Wisconsin, a really nice resort there. And on the way up, I'm like, oh, I'll just call a company BrEpic because I like BR, the first 2 letters of my last name, and then I like saying the word epic all the time.
That's what I figured. Okay, that's what I figured.
Literally, and then I had no idea what I was doing.
What was the business? What was the model? Like, how were you going to make money?
So that's that's a fair question. So the reason why I needed 5 clients, we'll go way back to the beginning. The reason why I needed that was because that amount for what those 5 clients were paying me at the time was equal to what I had been making before Job Salad. Okay.
All right.
But in terms of what I was doing, I had no idea. Like, so anything that anyone would do in this world. So whether that's running social media, writing press releases, which I hate doing, but I didn't know what else to do. And then I was just reaching out saying, hey, do you need story placement or help with press releases or help running your social media? I mean, and then what I found out somewhat quickly was that really what I like to do is write stories, which is what I was doing anyway, write stories. And then it becomes a link on the client's or partner's website. So it looked like a story you see I'm going old school here, the Rocky Mountain News, and then take that link, pitch to me all over the world, and then media.
I see.
And that's literally all my firm does. It does one thing for one type of person.
Okay. How many clients now?
Oh, I don't. I mean,
Hundreds? Hundreds?
no, I would never. I don't want that. No, God, no.
Because you've
No,
kept it small on purpose.
no, I
You
do
haven't,
not want that. So
yeah.
my partner and I created LinkedIn Without the BS, high price point, invite only connectivity platform.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I missed
One,
that on your LinkedIn profile. I didn't see that anywhere. Oh, I missed that. Sorry.
that's the BrEpic Network. So that's the
Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. All
So
right.
my partner, most of his day is doing 8 and 9 figure deals. That's not my world.
Okay.
He and I built that, and then he and I have a book coming out about how to build a family office, multifamily office. I have no idea how to do that, but then it talks about the new company being the connectivity platform for people like that. And then the third co-author is Russ Allen Prince. He's the editor of Private Wealth magazine. In family office space, he's #1. And then they have 2,000 subscribers, average revenue per subscriber is 8 figures. So he's going to send all his people into new companies. So
Nice. Nice.
right. Well, so I just stay in my world of talking to visionaries like you and connecting people like you.
Well, what's the website for the
BrEpic
LinkedIn
Network?
like company?
BrEpicNetwork.com. BrEpicNetwork.com. If you want to
BrEpic.
meet my partner, I'm happy to introduce you to him. You would like him. He's me with empathy. He's me with empathy.
And that is a connecting site, a networking site, but BrEpic LLC.com is your consulting firm or agency, so to speak. I don't know how you.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's so I was a journalist for 20 years, created an entire first company based on how PR firms annoyed me for 20 years. So however you want to brand that, we just only partner with visionaries. So not business owners, not humans, only visionaries, changing the world.
But that is just yours. The LLC is just
Correct.
yours.
That's correct.
And then your partner's on this other deal.
Yes, that's correct.
Plus, somehow, while you're raising 2 little kids and your wife's a doctor, you've found time to write like 2 books, or now you're about to launch a third one.
Well, I didn't write the third one at all. My name's on it because it talks about a new company being the connectivity platform for that. But so like again, things a child can do, I have a very hard time doing. Writing a book is actually quite easy for me. So the one that the Epic Life, I wrote that in 16 days, and then the first one, which came out in 2020, Epic Business, I wrote that in 40 days or something like that. So writing a book is it's not hard. But things like most things I can't do. Like it's impossible. But writing a book's not hard for me.
And of course, you didn't need a ghostwriter.
No. Oh my God. That's funny that you bring that because people are like, oh, so did you have someone write that? I go, I was a professional journalist for 20 years. Like it's easy to, I mean, but no, like it's funny because it's just funny because like there are like 2 or 3 things I actually know how to do. One is to be a dad / somewhat of a husband. And then like connecting visionaries to visionaries and then writing about them. Other than that, I don't really know how to do anything. I mean, I just don't. And I don't.
You're humble. You're a humble guy. You're a humble guy. But I mean, hey, you've accomplished a lot already. I want to come back to the books, but let me ask about BrEpic Network. Is it can you give us the 2-minute elevator pitch? Like is it a like LinkedIn, but you gotta
no. Okay.
Or what yeah, if you don't mind.
So one, I like LinkedIn. I have like 30,000 followers on there. So it's certainly not a competitor to LinkedIn. It's nothing. It's just LinkedIn without the BS is the easy way to make it understandable because I like LinkedIn. A lot of it's just BS though. It's people reaching out. So like new company is like you want to sell your company for 9 figures. You want a Hollywood script to a Hollywood producer, something like that. So connect. And then, so like first company, BrEpic, is connections through platforms like this, like through media opportunities. Okay. The new company's connections for anything. It doesn't have to be media related.
I see. Okay, very good. Is there a fee or how do I sign up? And what does it cost me? BrEpic Network.
Yep. So one, I'm happy to introduce you to Mark Fujiwara to talk about that. Currently, it's $10K a year to join it. We have some members at that level. The long term is that you want to sell your company for $100 million, then BrEpic Network.
Okay. You guys 50-50. Do you mind me asking 50-50? Are you a minority
full
owner?
50-50. No, full 50-50.
What do you do? Flip a coin when you have a disagreement or what?
Actually, so Mark is me with empathy, I have the majority. He doesn't care about, like, we don't. So
Okay.
like Mark is, we're definitely both unicorns. We have no intention of ever selling the company. It'd be like selling the purpose of our lives to do that.
Gotcha. Okay.
And,
How do you know Mark? How are you guys friends?
yeah, we met each other through an entrepreneur group called Strategic Coach. We met virtually.
Oh,
You would love Strategic. So I'm very confident saying it's one of the top, if not the top, entrepreneur groups in the world. And we met virtually during a meeting, and then we were completing each other's sentences. And then I was telling him about this idea I had about this. He's like, "Oh, okay, that's a great idea. Let's do it." And so here we are.
wow.
But we've met only twice in person. One was at the launch party, and then my wife and I went to visit Mark and his wife in San Francisco for dinner a couple months ago.
Where do all the video clips come from? The YouTube videos and stuff from the gathering that you guys had. Is that going to be like an annual conference now that I saw, or
You are
what is
full
it?
strategy. So Mark is the person. He's the backstage person. But Mark will be planning monthly virtual events, and then our long-term plan is to have a yearly, whether it's in person or virtually, a yearly big event.
Okay, yeah, right, very good. All right, let's go to the books. So I'm looking at Amazon right now. Epic Business, which you released when was that one? 20, what was that? 2020? Yeah.
2020, yeah. And Chris Voss, who wrote Never Split the Difference, did the forward. I'm very grateful for that.
Okay. Hey, 4.9 rating for the reviews, 111 reviews. I think I need to order a copy. Is it available on audio or just paperback?
Oh yeah, we had a professional. Yeah, so again, that would be terrible for me to be doing the audio. So we had a professional actor, and then for Epic Life, the guy who does like the Law and Order voiceovers, he did that one.
What? That's cool.
Yeah, he did a good job.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, tell the listeners about each one. Give us the brief overview about each one.
Oh
Real quick.
yeah, you're really man. You're so strategic, man. The and then you relate to your audience. You like really try to simplify it for them. Okay, so first book, Epic Business, was people are like, how did you build a global company with zero business background in 2 years? I'm like, well, here you go. So
Here you go.
and then the second one is I talk to 1 to 2 people. So all I do is talk to visionaries. Okay, that's it all day. I talk to 1 to 2 visionaries every single week that have let entrepreneur life destroy their family life or prevented them from anything meaningful. So I'm like, that's a bad idea. Don't do that. And then so the newer book is how to build collaborative global companies while putting your loved ones first.
Now that is a great one. And that's a wonderful topic because you're right. When you're an entrepreneur and a business owner, you can work 24/7 if you want to. I mean, you literally can just work all the time, and you can let the stress kill your relationships.
Kill yourself. Well, so here again, thank you for sharing that. There's 2 things from what you just said, besides the fact that it was great. One is, again, entrepreneurs are the most damaged people with best coping skills. So what that happens is, because I see it over and over, they use those coping skills to create all this stuff. They create all this stuff, and then many times at the expense of any relationships with family.
Yes.
I mean, entrepreneurs are just full addicts. That's what it's those 4 things. They're just addicts. I mean, that's what they are.
Which, by the way, often ties to drugs and alcohol for entrepreneurs.
100%. Well, there's no difference between entrepreneurship and drug. I mean, it's the same. It's the same thing. And then 2, and I really appreciate you saying it, but this is a message I so strongly believe in, that this is what people like us actually want. They just don't know how to do it. And that's really like fundamentally why I wrote it, because one, I mean, I work 0 hours every week. This is just fun for me. And then more importantly, I see my family whenever I want to.
Which is nice.
You have grandchildren and you outkicked your coverage with your marriage. You did a good job with that. So, I mean, and you understand what matters. I'm guessing at the beginning of your journey, it might've been a little bit rocky.
Yeah, no doubt. As I've gotten older, I have, gotten much better at saying, okay, look, I am going to enjoy life. I'm going to enjoy my family. Hey, I like money like everybody else, but I'm not going to kill myself to make more just so I can hate my life or be unhealthy. I'm just not going to do that. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. So when you said, oh, how many clients do you have now with PR? And I think you said hundreds or thousands. I almost had a heart attack because I'm like, I don't want to deal with that. That sounds horrible. That
Yeah,
just sounds terrible.
because then you got to have employees.
I don't want to. No. Well, I don't want to deal with that because and I appreciate what you. Believe me, I appreciate what you do because you help the vast majority of society. I know with my lack of empathy, and then I'm second to last in includer on Strength Finders, Gallup Clifton Strength Finders. But for people like you, I have endless empathy, endless, like endless, because it's those four things, and you won't make an excuse. I just don't understand people that make excuses. It's like talking a different language to me.
And there's a lot of that going on around right now
Not in my world.
society, you know.
Not in my world. I ignore that.
Uh,
I ignore it.
I blame social media for some of that, some of the lack of work ethic and the excuses and the entitlement and all that. I mean, hey, I use social media all the time for the advertisement of Riderflex, so I use it as a tool. And we're going to put this interview on social media, but overall, I don't know. It's done some things that I think are not good for society.
I would agree with you there, and like it's a fascinating. So I met my wife online. Literally created two global companies where if I really never have to leave this house ever if I don't want to, and that's because it's amazing. But also, it's like our kids are 8 and 10, and I see how that could how that can impact them, and cyberbullying and things like that, and then how people are distracted. What I will say is, a true entrepreneur would never let anything get in the way of them achieving what they wanted. They just would not. They won't do it. They will not make an excuse. That's why for people like you, I have endless empathy.
So I got to ask you, especially with your kids being the age they are, and you're a writer, and you write for a living, great writer, wonderful talent. I'm curious, what are your thoughts on this Chat GPT and the light speed of AI? And
okay, great. Okay, there's two things from that. So one, for those who can see this hat, one of the groups I'm in is called Abundance 360. Peter Diamandis runs that. He wrote the forward. Very thankfully wrote the forward for Epic Life. Peter's probably the top futurist, one of the top futurists on the planet. Abundance 360 is basically 300 of literally the smartest, most. I mean, they're all 150, 160, 170 IQ, except for me, futurists. So the every latest innovation in healthcare, AI, whatever that is being discussed in that room. Like the top, you would like that, by the way. Okay. So this is how I look at technology, because I'm 100% simplifier, like just very 100%. So all that stuff is great. Microchips get smaller and smaller. Things get faster and faster. There are two fundamentals that will never change. Two. Okay. Why? Because I'm a simplifier and I see how things are. One is the power of real human relationships. So you and I, even though we're not meeting in person, this is a real human relationship. Okay. We're a world of real human that will never change no matter how it's done, however it's done. Two, power of storytelling. Never will change. So you have hieroglyphics, smoke signals, the Bible, I don't know, the Declaration of Independence, whatever that, we're a world of storytellers. That will never change. The way it's delivered will change, but the power of storytelling and real human relationships, they will never change. Okay, so that's one answer to your question. I was talking, the other answer comes from my 8-year-old, because we don't talk about human stuff. We talk about full level entrepreneur futurist stuff.
I love that.
I took my 8-year-old out to dinner the other night. He's smarter than me because he has my wife's medical brain, and then he's got my maniac entrepreneur brain. So I was talking to him about IQ and then bending time. We talked about bending time, futurist stuff.
Yeah.
And so he goes to me again. He's 8. And he's definitely smarter than I am. His IQ is way off the charts. But so he's like, he considers, again, he is 8 years old. He said, life is one day. So yesterday is before you were born. And then tomorrow is after you die. So life to him is making the most out of that one day. And he said the two things that make the most out of that one day is spending time with your family, making a family, because the fundamental purpose of human life is to create, or any life is to create more lives. Otherwise, there'd be no lives. I mean, that's okay. That's pretty. I don't think there's an argument to that. And then two, he said, doing what you like to do and what you're good at. So one day,
Wow. From an
yeah.
8-year-old?
Well, that's what we taught. I've never treated them like children, because in entrepreneur world, the best part about that is we can talk about these things, and they get to see this world even exists.
Wow. He's not spending a lot of time playing video games, I don't think.
Well, sometimes he does, and they're great kids. They're really great athletes. My 10-year-old's, he's done a 21:10 5K as a 9-year-old, which that's insane for an adult. He's a full maniac. And but you know, they're good. They have my wife's humanity, which is really, really interesting. But no, I mean, and then my wife, before parent teacher conferences, she says, don't say anything, just keep your mouth shut. So I just keep my mouth shut.
But I what I wanted to ask you was, so how do you feel about college kids using Chat GPT to turn in essays and stuff? Like what?
I ignore that completely. Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah. So if it doesn't bother you that they do it.
I don't even think about it. I never think about it. What I think about is the college kids who will create something that's better than that, that will change the world, or kids my age. What I talk to my kids about, and I'm guessing they'll go to college because my wife is, you know, full stabilizing human who's a doctor. But I'm like, I don't care if you go to college. I mean, I don't even know if college will be useful in 10 years.
Good question. It's a good question. Yeah, I would say that's up for debate. I mean, if AI continues to develop at the speed it has been and gets even faster, yeah,
it's going to keep getting faster. It won't stop getting. But again, those two constants they're not going to change. They're not.
The sad part there will be the EQ that's developed and the relationships that are developed at college. Forget about whether or not the software can write
okay,
for you.
So here's how your brain works now. So you're way higher in empathy than I am. Wow. I'm endlessly grateful for people with high empathy, because that's how it's like collaborative empathy. I never even think about what like stuff that you're thinking about unless someone like you brings it up. All I know is what's that?
They're going to miss all that. It'll be sad. I would want my granddaughters, both of them, to go to school just for the people experience.
That's all college was to me. Yeah. So at University of Illinois, and by the way, University of Illinois College of Engineering and College of Business hired my PR firm a couple of years ago. So college actually paid me back, which is
that's so great.
But
so
all
good.
college is, so all these entrepreneur groups I'm in, like all the tools and stuff and things coming, it's great. All they are to me is collaborative platforms with the right people. That's all college is. It's just collaborative platforms with the right people.
And a great place to mature. Grow up.
What's the opposite of mature?
Yeah. Start to mature. Do dumb shit. You know, you can do dumb shit. Get away with it.
Really dumb, borderline illegal. That's my advice to my children: is misdemeanor okay, felony not. That is literally my advice.
Yeah, but I feel sorry for my granddaughters, which are just a little bit younger than your own kids. The fact that the entire planet is on a camera everywhere, you know, I mean, you can't do anything hardly. I mean, like you said earlier, I'd probably be in jail or something. I don't know. I did so many crazy things.
I mean, and if we were in another country, we would have been executed. We'd have been killed.
Yeah. I mean, I think 100%. About yeah. We got to be careful with that. I hope you know, the Big Brother thing doesn't get worse. But anyway, yeah, I wanted to ask you about ChatGPT because you know, as a writer, now I'm wondering when I see somebody respond to me on anytime I see an email or I see a LinkedIn message or anything, my immediate thought is, okay, is this a robot? Is this a real person? Right. Did a human write
we created my new company, because I was tired of that crap.
Yes. By the way, that's all LinkedIn is a bunch of chatbot messages. You know, it's ridiculous.
Right. So most people won't. So here's the formula for creating a successful global company. It's very simple, right? You see a problem, create solution, problem solve, successful global company. That's all it is. So I was I'm tired of this I don't want to be bothered by a bot.
I totally agree.
Right.
Check this out. I got to tell you this, and then I want to ask you for future what's the plan is. I had a guy call me. This is several weeks ago. He's trying to sell me some software, and he goes, "Yeah, we've created this software so that you can respond to a chat bot with your own chat bot." And I said, "Well, wait a minute. So you're trying to create this world where chatbots talk to chatbots and no humans talk? Like, what are you talking about, man? Like, no."
Leave me alone. I mean, and that world's coming in some capacity. I just stay in my zone of, again, spending time with it's very simple. I just spend time with my family and connect people like you to other people like you. And really it eliminates all this other stuff that most people are, I'm connecting with my partner literally right now as we're talking.
What's the plan, Justin, or is there a master plan? I mean, you said you wouldn't sell the companies, or you weren't planning on selling. Are you just going to have fun building it with your partner and just kind of enjoy it? Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And 10-year vision, starting a BrEpic Foundation to help younger entrepreneurs. That's the master.
Oh, okay. Okay. And probably
go ahead. I'm sorry.
write some more books too, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Well, because what happens is, so like I just talk to visionaries like you, ideators like you all day, and maybe once a month, someone like you will provide a truly great idea, and my brain will, and then I write it down, and then those will become a chapter in the next book. So I just don't have enough of those. It didn't take long to write the book, but to get the ideas for it, it took like 2.5 years. So
how about fiction? Any fiction?
No. Because there's so many cool things in nonfiction.
All right.
Yeah, no, definitely. My wife likes that. She's 100% gray and I'm 100% black and white. There's like no.
Well, you guys balance each other out then.
Well, you seek what you need to heal. So I needed a human, empathetic, caring, loving person, and then she needed someone who would give her more sense of adventure and taking chances.
That's good. That's great. Can I ask you? We're almost out of time. Can I ask you? You've met a ton of really smart people, successful people. Anybody in particular you would highlight that just completely blew you away in your top 5? You're like, wow, this guy really, or this girl, whatever, it was really just so inspirational for me. Anybody in particular, and why?
Okay, so obviously my dad for sure. When he was alive, he would say, the cream rises to the top. So that's chapter 1 in Epic Life, the cream rises to the top. So you're either the cream that will rise to the top or you'll make an excuse. And I don't, so you're only talk to the former. Dan Sullivan, who's the co-founder of Strategic Coach, he talked about the all 4 things. He was bankrupt and divorced on the same day in his 30s. Bankrupt and divorced on the same day. Now he's probably the top entrepreneur coach on the planet. But that's what, and then certainly Dr. Peter Diamandis. I mean, top futurist. I mean, so to have him write a forward for book, I mean, that's
very good. Congratulations, my friend, on everything you're doing. And by the way, your social media is great. You're super active. You are very good at how you post, when you post, the content of your posts. Excellent stuff. I can see why not only do you do the PR stuff, but you can teach people what to do with their social media to get found and noticed more. I'm impressed. I mean, just as I knew you were coming up a week or 2 ago. And of course, I'm always looking at the calendar and I start prepping. And, as I'm moving along, I'm like, oh shit, I'm okay. Justin, he's got it going on here with the social media. Nice job. Really nice.
My wife taught me how to say thank you. So thank you.
Congratulations. For the listeners, again, one more time, on Amazon. And I'm assuming your book's elsewhere, but I'm just looking at Amazon.
It's all over the place.
Yeah, all over the place. But Epic Life, available on Amazon, plus the audio version, and Epic Business, same thing on Amazon, plus the audio version. You can also connect with Justin Breen via LinkedIn. Just don't send him any chatbot bullshit sales messages, please.
Hey, you just gave me my new LinkedIn. Don't sell me chatbot bullshit. Perfect.
BrEpicLLC.com as well. You can go there and learn more. Congratulations, my friend. Pleasure to chat with you, and thanks for sharing your story on the Riderflex show.
I love your brain. Your strategy brain is, and context brain's fascinating to me. So great questions.
Appreciate it, man.